Hey guys, it's Metro from Metro Great Goods. I'm gonna do videos. I'm not doing videos very often, but this is my first time doing this stuff, and I'm just gonna go through a new design I'm working on and go through the design process and how I kind of go through it. The reason why I'm doing it is documenting a different way. I'm a freelance industrial designer, and it's important for me to keep track of my generations of work and how I go from point A prototype to final prototype and final production product. So this is a new model. This is the Capuchin. It's a smaller model. It's not too big. It's not too small. It fits my medium-sized hands quite well. And this one's completely unfinished. It's still raw. It's basically just sanded to 800 grit. It was laser cut from Baltic birch and assembled and clamped and then finished in that way. This is the first generation one. I have other generations. I'll show you what I made changes to. My band slot and band guide have been very successful. I really like this system. It's really quick changing, super accurate, and it's a really reliable system, and it's super clean, and I really like that. I don't like tying tubes and tying stuff to my frames, and this is definitely a way to go. When I first shot it, I designed these digitally, and when you first make it, you don't really notice kind of how things are going to go. So when I had it out and finished it, I noticed that this part is actually too thin. So everything else kind of worked out just fine. So I went from the second generation to here. As you can see, that the frame is actually a bit thicker in this general kind of slender waist area. And I also made the band slot here even just a single kerf of the laser instead of two kerfs of the laser. So I'm able to put in TheraBand black quite easily in it because it's a bit thinner. I prefer TheraBand black sometimes for target shooting. It's a lot less taxing on my fingers and my shoulders and everything. It's just as accurate, and at 30 meters, or at 30 feet, pardon me, it's just as easy. This one's been finished with some polyurethane, so it's not super nice, but it's good enough. From there, I wanted to explore if I could change it from band slots to tubes. So I went from that to this. This is Mrs. Metro's. This one is going to be hers, and she's going to use it. She really likes shooting. She doesn't like bands because it gets tangled, and she has carpal tunnel syndrome, and she doesn't like fiddling around. Once she gets a hold of it, she likes holding on to it for a lot. The reason why this is here, she actually likes putting her finger right in there and doing this to give herself a bit more stability. I cut it. I just basically just took a hacksaw and kind of cut it off and do it like that. I like this. I like the way that the ball and tube, it's really clean looking. It works just fine, but I still wanted to further it and see what this like looped tube thing was all about. I haven't shoot loop tubes, and I wanted to try it. So from that, Mark IV. So Mark IV is kind of like a E+ Slingshot SPS. I don't even know. I mean, it kind of got inspiration from a lot of places, and put it together like this. And I have these pseudo tapered 2040 tubes. This part is about 2.5 inches, and the whole length is about 9 inches. I have about a 29.5 inch draw, and they're just as fast as bands, and they're way easier to sight. For this one in particular, when you pull back on it, they do sight in the middle, so that little indent here actually makes a nice sight when you're looking down the tubes. Yeah, so this is kind of where I want to go, and I want to make this version and this version available on the website, but I'm not quite sure which one I'm going to go with first, because I mean there's still a bunch of work to finish, and I'm not going to do them both at the same time, because after finishing 20 slingshots in about 3 or 4 days, it really killed my fingers, and I want to take a break from making stuff. But that's kind of what I want to show you. That's how I went from Mark 1, this, to Mark IV, and I guess this is Mark III, and 4 is kind of a different version of 3. So I have some other goodies to show you. I also, the launch of the website, I launched the Tamarin, which was a Paracord banded slingshot. This is the Tamarin Junior. This is actually quite a bit smaller. It's exactly 75% smaller. Because I did it digitally, I'm able to scale them down, and do it that way. This is corded up with micro paracord, and there's more than 16 feet in it. I couldn't believe it. I pulled out 3 arms lengths worth of it, and it was 16 feet, and I just barely had enough to finish it. It's done in the same pattern as the Tamarin, and I really like it. It's a really nice small frame. I can get my fingers right in there, and I don't feel any kind of strain on my hand because I'm just wrapped right around it. And the Paracord, it's a really nice grip. So I'll see if I want to make this one first or the Capuchin. I'm not quite sure. I really like both, and I've said this before, and I really like making slingshots more than shooting them almost. So it's kind of one or the other. The last thing I'm going to show you is a blacked out version of the Marmoset. This is the Marmoset Fb. It's coated with acrylic paint, really simple. Coated with acrylic paint and then triple coated in polyurethane. Up here is a rifle sight I cut down and then glued in shape. So when you're sighting, you'll see that little red dot, and it's perfect. It's really great. It's banded up with TheraBand black, and again, it's to my draw length, but I mean, anyone can put their own bands on it if they want. But it's using the same system, loops through, and then gets banded that way, and it's quite safe. I've never had one snap back at me, and I've shot these hundreds of times, and it's been really fun. Like I said, that's kind of it. I just wanted to show you some stuff in person. It's really hard to just photographs do so little to show people exactly what things how are held and kind of the scale and how they look in 3D, and video is probably the best way of doing it. So until next time, I'm just gonna sign off. Thanks. Bye.